Welcome to my garden here in Denmark. It's the 21st of June and this garden is located in a USDA Zone 7 equivalent here in Denmark, in Europe. The garden is looking really great. A lot of plants are in flower. As you can see, my rose, Roald Dahl, has also opened up. The last couple of days we've really had a lot of sun. Finally we have a lot of sun. And the rose is really responding great. There are actually 3 roses there, and then I use some geraniums to hide its feet. I like it when they're sort of built into the border, and I usually plant 3 roses at a time, just to give them a real great impression in the borders. Also looking really great, Peony Bowl of Beauty. I should probably have deadheaded that a little bit before this video, but I've not had that much time lately. That's also why I've not put up that many videos. Also relating to not having that much time, as you can see, the edges are not really done. And the edges does matter a lot in this garden because the planting is rather informal, right? And hence the edges sort of, it just leaves a big impression when those are really tightened up, even when the borders aren't. Not sure how to explain that in a better way. It is also looking great with that geranium Cloud 9 in there. It's actually rather great looking, and quite a lot of bees in there as well. Of course, also quite a lot of bees in this Nepeta Walker Slow right here. Due to the soil being really great here, it's become better over the years. These Nepetas have become rather large and do flop just a little bit. But Walker Slow is a really great variety if you ask me. It's a sterile variety, so it flowers for a really long time, doesn't seed, and the bees really like it. Also right here, Iris Siberica. When that was in full flower, that was an absolute stunner. You just have to believe me, but it's almost spent now. Oh, and the promise right here. My daylilies with a lot of buds. That's gonna look great in well, 2 weeks time or something like that. Last year you heard me saying again and again that I was gonna put in some grass up here and remove one of my borders. And guess what? I got it done. I think this will look stunning. Now there's a lot of sun in the forecast, and this is newly sown grass. I've trimmed it once, but I don't want to be too aggressive with it yet, so I've not trimmed it again and again. And that's also why the newly sown grass, well, it looks so different from the rest, right? But all in all, I think this will look rather great. And yeah, there's a sage there, Caradonna, with a lot of bees in it. I'm filming in full sun today. Also, I did take out that apple that I was complaining about, and I moved a magnolia here. And yeah, that magnolia was actually coming from over here, from this other space in the border, right? But what I did over here is that I moved one of my tree peonies here. As you remember, I have 3 tree peonies at the other end of the border, at some other border, and I moved one of them here. And I trimmed it all the way to the ground, and it has responded by shooting a lot, so that's great. Also, I moved this tree here. It was under a bit of pressure because it was located down there. So I really moved quite a lot of plants this year. Oh, and Linaria peachy. Let's just cover that as well. Again, a bee magnet, right? Not even in full flower yet, and the bees already having at it. It's a sterile variety. Unfortunately, in most places it has actually disappeared. Does seem to do really magnificently right there. But I've actually put in some that should seed as well. So I'm hoping that that will make them last a bit longer here in the garden, because the peachy one is slowly dying out, perhaps except that one that's looking really great. Again here at the mini pond, also looking great. Let's just back off a little bit. We can do that now that there's grass here, right? That is actually looking rather stunning as well, I think. Digitalis really tall, as tall as I am. That is just looking great. And of course the mandatory bumblebee. There's always one, right, in those. I really like those. And those two, they're just looking great. And a rose behind the pond. What do you call that in Rosa Gauca, I believe it's called in English. And again with a couple of Allium Globemasters behind it. Yeah, all my alliums that you can see flowering right now are Allium Globemaster. Globemaster is sterile, but their bulbs generally divide each year. So they do bulk up a lot. I think at some point in time I probably have to go in and just thin them a little bit. Oh, and Rosa Silas Mana. At least I believe this one is Silas Mana. And I had one die on me. As I told you, I plant in threes. And you might notice that there's a new one down there. Hopefully it will do better than the parent. No idea why it died. Did not shoot. And when I dug it out, it was clear that it was 100% dead. I moved a hue from here. I used to have a hue, but it was too much in front of that magnolia. So I've moved that one. And the reason why I mentioned that hue is that when I removed it, I stepped on that Siberica quite a lot. So it suffered a bit. It's what happened, right? Globemaster is past its best, actually. Is past its best. It's everywhere where it's in the sun, it's past its best. It's looking okay in the shadows still. I'll keep those stems around for a bit and then I'll remove them. Magnolia did not flower this year. Unfortunately, we had a really late frost in what was that, mid-May frost. That took all of the buds and everything. Oh, I can actually see that there's one flower in there. Oh, that's not a lot. One little white flower. It is actually a variety that can flower sporadically through the year, but that would have looked a lot better if it had not been frosted. Anyhow, it's what happens, right? Yeah, that's Rob. I cannot remember the name in English, but it is looking great. Again, it's so great that it's summer again, because all of this insect life. I could see a couple of butterflies in there. It's just so great that all of the life has returned again to the garden. Yeah, not looking that bad, right? All in all, I'm happy with, to be honest. Other than that, it is looking great. And Baltic parsley just about to open up and flower. Those have really bulked up this year. Really bulked up. Looking so great. Echinacea almost about to or not about to flower, but looking so great, and does have quite a few buds on it as well. The trick is, do not let your echinaceas dry out. If it gets warm and really dry, water them. It's the way to treat them. They cannot dry out. They will look horrible if they do. Yeah, again, all in all, perhaps the, oh, what's it called, the red one in here, perhaps that is getting a little bit dominant, right? That is a plant that will seed. It's easy enough to remove though, so it's not like I dislike it, but perhaps the rats are starting to take over just a little bit in here. So I might just remove a plant or two and figure out what I put in. Oh, the daylilies, almost about to flower. So close. And again here you can see I am modifying a bit. I have purchased some additional plants. You'll notice in here again I added in sage caradonna in there. I believe that will look great. I saved some money by purchasing some that were really small. Let's see how they look in a year or so. Beauty bush, looking a little bit odd this year. I don't think that frost was great for that one as well. Did suffer a bit, I believe. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Also, let's just cover the middle border here as well. This has just opened up these last couple of days. Yesterday there was about 4 open buds on this rose. It's a Lady of Shalott, just looking great. Again, the geraniums are looking great in there. Some of them are geranium and folkheart and looking great, and also again the Nifofia in there looking great as well. And also I have some new plants in there starting to shoot. Let's see. What I want here is basically I don't want to be able to see the soil, because if I'm able to see soil, then it means that various weeds will grow there. So a lot of my work in this garden is basically making sure that things are so tightly packed in that I don't get that many weeds. Again, the alliums are starting to look a little bit spent here. This is Ito peony. That was looking really stunning a week ago. One flower remains in the top. And some of the flowers were actually as big as my hand. This one is about half size of my hand, the last one. But that was looking really great. Again, and Iris Iberica down there was also looking so stunning just a week ago. That is how it is here in the garden, right? I think I should perhaps every now and then create a rather short video that just covers some of the things that will normally get spent rather fast. Down here we are coming up on one of my other projects, and that is I have extended the path here, and the idea is that the path will bend around this corner, and basically when you look out of my my living room windows, you'll be invited into the garden via this path. And I used to have a tree right there in front of the window. So instead of being invited into the garden, there was sort of like a tree standing there right in front of the window. Instead, I've put in 2 trees instead, but placed on either side of the path so that there's some symmetry there and you'll be invited in instead. And also these trees might actually in the long run provide some shadow for that window there, so that my living room doesn't get as hot as it does right now. So that's an added benefit, right? I'm gonna use my edges basically. That untrimmed edge that you saw, I am gonna try and see if I have enough edge to just fill it in here. Let's see how it goes. The positive thing about moving turf instead of sowing new grass is that I can walk on it right away. And this is a garden space that is in use. So I want, especially on my path, I want to walk right away. Now, that other place where I put in grass, all of those perennials that were in there, except for a few that I did not want to keep, have been moved here. Also, of course, there were some perennials here already and some roses, and the roses were moved over here, and the perennials were actually migrated to here and there. For example, this daylily, as well as that daylily, the daily in there, right? You get the idea. So basically I had to migrate everything off of that path, as well as everything that I wanted to keep from that other border. Luckily, what I want to do here is I want to plant up really close, really cram things in. And the reason why is you don't get that many weeds if you do so. If you cannot see the ground, there will not be a lot of sun hitting it, and in that case there won't be that many weeds. Now, this garden is of course not perfect, right? There are quite a few weeds, all in all, especially in spring. But when the garden closes up here in summer, there's actually not that much weeding. So the strategy is starting to work. Also right here I had my blueberries, right? And they are now down there. And basically these blueberries are as big as I am. And if you would like to sit right here on this bench right here, this is a really great place, because in the evening the wall warms up, right? And you have this bench here, and you were looking right into a wall of blueberries. Now when I sit down here, I can enjoy the view and hopefully get tempted by some blueberries down there, right? Let's see. Let's see if it succeeds. The perennial border, I'm not that worried about it, and that's because honestly most of the plants that I move here are plants that I already had and have experience with. It'll fill in nicely. Oh, rather nice looking again. You can get rather nice Iris Sibericas here. This is a newly established one this year. That'll look great in a season or two, right? But some of my projects are actually getting there. And having this grass put in is already saving me time. Because there was so much weeding here, and as well in that borderway. Until I planted there, up there I sowed grass, of course. But up until that spot there was quite a lot of work going on. But now it's actually getting a little bit easier. Also, the garden has started to close up here in summer, right? Thank you for watching. Do subscribe. Bye bye.